In a small dusty town in India, where the summer air clung to your skin and the scent of incense mixed with cow dung, there lived a barber named Haran. He wasn't someone people noticed much. His shop was a wooden shack tucked between a sweet stall and a blacksmith's furnace. His hands were rough, stained with years of cheap shaving cream and the sweat of labor. He cut the hair of nobles, cleaned their ears, and sometimes even massaged their feet for a few extra coins. And every time, he'd smile politely, bow his head a little too low, and accept whatever they gave. He lived alone, ate simple meals, and ended his days watching the sky turn gold over the rice fields. But inside him was a longing he could not name for years. Until one day, he stood by the river, watching a young monk walk barefoot, begging for alms. The boy's face was radiant, his steps so light it was as if he floated. Something stirred in Haran's chest. Peace. That's what the boy carried. And Haran realized that's what he'd been missing all his life. Not just food, not just fairness. Peace. That night, he barely slept. By morning, he had made a decision that shook even his own bones. "I will become a monk," he whispered to himself. But the moment he said it out loud, the demons arrived. "You? A monk? Who do you think you are? You're just a barber. You touch people's heads for coins. Monks come from noble families or high castes. You're nobody." He was nearly ready to abandon the thought, but it clung to him like a prayer. And so, one morning, with trembling legs and a bundle of offerings in his hand, he walked to the temple on the hill where the great Master Devaguru resided. He stood before the gate, heart pounding. The master was watering a small neem tree, barefoot and quiet. Haran cleared his throat. "Master," he said, bowing low, "may I ask you something?" The master looked up with gentle eyes. "Ask." I'm just a lowly barber. I've spent my life serving others. People like me. We're not meant for higher paths. But still, I want to walk the path of peace. I want to become your disciple. Can someone like me be allowed?" The master placed the pot down. His eyes twinkled. Then he asked calmly, "Tell me, Haran, if two men are dying of thirst, and I give them both water, should one be quenched and the other remain thirsty?" Haran blinked. "No, that makes no sense, master." "Exactly," the master smiled. "Truth is like water. It quenches all who drink it. Buddhism is open to all. There is no high, no low, no pure, no impure. From this moment onward, you are my disciple." Tears welled up in Haran's eyes. His knees gave way, and he bowed deeply. That was the beginning. The days turned into weeks. Haran shaved his own head, donned a simple robe, and began his life of study and service. He was a quiet disciple, diligent, humble, always the first to rise and last to sleep. He cleaned the floors, fetched water, tended to the garden, and listened intently during the teachings. He felt free. For the first time in his life, he wasn't someone's servant. He was just a man walking toward truth. But not everyone was pleased. One sweltering afternoon, 3 nobles arrived at the temple. Dressed in fine silk robes with golden rings on their fingers, they bowed before Master Devaguru and said, "We wish to become your disciples." The master smiled and welcomed them warmly. "Come, sit. The gate is open to all who seek truth." Later, during the evening prayers, the nobles lined up to greet the senior monks. When their turn came to bow to Haran, they froze. One of them gasped, "Is that Haran, the barber?" He spat. Another said, "This must be a mistake. He touched our feet once. How can we bow to him?" Master Devaguru stepped forward, calm as the river. "Yes," he said, That is Haran. He is a monk now. He walks the same path as all of you." "But he's of lower caste," cried one noble. "It is unthinkable to bow to such a man." "He is beneath us," another added, his face red with anger. A silence settled, tense, heavy. The master looked at them quietly, then said, "When fire burns, does it ask if the wood is from a palace or a hut? When truth awakens, does it care for your lineage?" The nobles were speechless. Master Devagaru continued, voice soft but firm. "You carry with you your pride, your arrogance. These are your chains, not Haran. He is free. But you are still prisoners of your own minds. Can't you see? The sorrow you feel, the pain in your hearts. It was not brought by Haran. It was made by your own hands." The youngest noble, perhaps not even 30, looked down. His lips trembled. Slowly, tears began to spill from his eyes. I understand now," he whispered. "All these years, I blamed others, but the bitterness, the weight I carry, it's mine. I made it." He turned to Haran. "I was cruel to you," he said, voice shaking. "Back then, and now, I see clearly. You are not beneath me. You are walking ahead of me. Please, forgive me." Haran, stunned, took a moment. Then he bowed deeply and placed his hands together. "There is nothing to forgive," he said gently. "We are all learning." The noble fell to his knees and bowed before Haran, and slowly the other two followed. There were no more words, just silence. A silence so full and pure, it echoed louder than 1,000 drums. That night, the moon was brighter than ever. In the months that followed, the temple changed. The nobles studied beside Haran, ate with him, prayed beside him. The once invisible barber became a quiet force of inspiration. Not because he preached, but because he lived, genuinely, humbly, and with a steady heart. One evening, Haran sat by the same neem tree with Master Devagaru. "Do you miss your old life?" the master asked. Haran smiled. "Back then, I served with my hands. Now, I serve with my heart." The master nodded. "And which one do you think matters more?" Haran looked up at the stars. "Both," he said. "But the heart is where true change begins." And in the quiet hush of the temple grounds, it was clear. The barber had not just found peace, he had become it.